Yes, guys, welcome back to SVD TV. Sorry about all that. It's been a real problem with StreamYard, but we are live here for the rest of you. I've got my co-host Luke from the 1892 Red Podcast and special guest, ex-Premier League ref Mark Halsey with us. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, all good, thank you. After eventually getting in, I have to apologise. I'm in my daughter's bedroom, so you can see a couple of posters on the back wall there of United players. It's not mine, don't worry.
Famous players you've not sent off. Famous players you've not
It's a
sent off
much
yet.
better reception. It's a much better reception up here, in a room where she's got better Wi-Fi than what we've got. So she has it for a games room. So I'm up in her bedroom. So she's not happy at the moment because this would have all been complete by the time she got home from MMA training. So
Yeah, but yeah, tell her we really do appreciate it, and really do. But yeah, please do hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button as well. But apart from what's been going on over the last 24 hours in football, we're going to try and leave that for the minute and just try and focus on the referee side of things. But yeah, first of all, just want to ask about how you managed to get into being the top level the Premier League that you got to be at, and how you managed to get there.
Yeah, listen, it was in the early days. It was tough for me. Obviously, finishing my career as a non-league player, I fell out of love with playing. I think around about 28, 29. And it was a good friend of mine. Sadly, was no longer with us, Russell Foster, who I played with in the Welling Hatfield Sunday League as a goalkeeper, and he played as a centre half and
Goalkeeper, he used to be a goalkeeper.
I was so I played obviously non-league with Hertford Town, Cambridge City, St Albans, my hometown, Welling Garden City. So yeah, it was Russell who I played behind. He was a strapping, dirty centre half. And he went into refereeing, which I couldn't believe. And some years later, I mean, I love me cricket as well. I played cricket in the Welling Hatfield area for a team called Hatfield High for many, many years. And he's garden backed onto our cricket pitch. And he used to grab me every time when we walk around the boundary there, putting the world to rights. Why don't you become a referee? Why don't you become a referee? I said, listen, Russ, I've got no chance of becoming a referee. I'm not even interested. But then that sort of summer, I sort of thought about it and just said to him, listen, if I can take the exam without taking the course, the 8-week course, and do the exam, read the laws of the game, then I'll do it. And I was allowed to. I passed, and I never looked back. Really, I suppose it was it was fate that I packed in playing and then took up refereeing, and I suppose it was the best thing I've done, to be honest. Well, some fans might not say that, but but no, listen, well, I enjoyed every minute of it. I found it difficult at first, obviously, being in the change room with 15, 20 players, and then going into the dressing room on your own, coming up through the Welling Hatfield Sun League and the Hearts County League. So yeah, I found it difficult, but I carried on. I persevered. People said I was good at it, and obviously went through the different stages of promotion. And ended up as going through all the leagues that I played in, and then refereeing in those leagues that I played in, and going through up into the conference or the National League as it is now, and then obviously onto the Football League and Premier League. So yeah, listen, it was hard. Sometimes you had to make sacrifice, and I think being involved in football. And sport as I was, I've become a little bit too selfish, and I think that suffered with my family life later on. But on the whole, look where I am now, and where I was and where I got to. One of the best referees in England, 35,000, made the FIFA list. So I suppose you can't get better than
that. Luke, obviously, he's. I mean, I'm not a referee myself. I'm just a very passionate Arsenal fan. I mean, what team do you support in a minute?
Obviously, I mean, my family grew up in West London, East Acton, Whitesea, Shepherd's Bush, all around that area. So my first ever game I got taken to was by my uncle Len, and my other uncle Brian, who lived in Loftus Road. And who played this road?
Queen's Park Rangers.
Groups, come on, you all.
Hey.
So that was the team I grew up supporting. The boy went to watch them many times, and obviously still follow them today. I've got, so that's my boyhood team. Obviously, I've made many friends along the way at many football clubs, as you do when you're refereeing those teams all the time. So yeah, I mean that was my boyhood team at QPR, and obviously still follow them today.
Yeah, we'll try and get to questions towards the end if we can. But anyway, Luke. Obviously, Luke's we know as a grassroots referee himself, so I'm sure he's got a bunch of questions he wants to ask. Being a fellow referee, so go fire away.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's actually like quite a real honour to like speak to obviously someone like yourself, like who's refereed at. I've been refereeing now. This is my it's not even my first full year really. Like I went into refereeing sort of last season. I was there for a couple of months. Went on the course, and then obviously like COVID hit, so like it was obviously a shame there. But sort of my first season, I've just gone into level 7. I'm doing for the promotion for level 6 this year. And again, it's strange because like of the COVID situation and all that. It's really strange. But do you know what? It's like I think, as you said, Mark, it's like it's kind of, what's the word? It's kind of really intimidating in a way because like I was at this weekend I was in an under-18s game at AFC Hornchurch, and going.
So you're Essex, are you?
Yeah, so Saturdays I do Essex Alliance, and Sundays I'm with like sort of Essex Corinthians on the Sundays, and the EGA as well. But it was just like going into a changing room like at a non-league ground or something like that, and just seeing like it's just like all right, there's no crowd there at the moment, but like it's there. Like you've got a big pitch, there's players there, and it's like you've got to make sure you keep in control of it. And playing for such a long time, grassroots level, to then jump into refereeing. I mean, personally, my granddad refereed for like 35, 40 years at sort of Sunday level as well. So, sort of maybe not knowing, how important and how, tiring refereeing is. So, I mean, that's what I was going to say. Like, is it like, how did you get through all like them years, like to, get through the promotions, obviously to then get to like the Premier League level, like, sort of what did it take for you?
It's difficult when you first start. As a referee, you've got to be strong, mentally tough, and even at your level. I mean, I started at that level as well, and players will get to know you. Players will know who you are, and they will get to know how far they can push you. And that's the same at every level. And they will soon work out if you're a weak referee or not a weak referee. And if you're a weak referee, they will soon latch onto that. No problem at all. So yeah, you go out, and for me, it's so important that you go out there with a smile on your face and you engage with the players at every level. I mean, I went out with a smile on my face. I engaged with the players at every level. You can smile with them, you can laugh with them, you can cheer them, but when you get that chance to stamp your authority on the game, you have to do it, because if you don't, then the players will take the law into their own hands, and you have to be aware of what's going on around you all the time. You need to, once the play's gone out, the ball's been played out to the right back, you still get that time to just have a little look over your shoulder, see how the 9 and 5 are getting on with each other. If there's little niggles in there, you need to nip it in the bud to stop it escalating. So as I say, and that doesn't mean say you have to authority on the game card, because today we see so many yellow cards issued for careless challenges, and we all know careless challenges are just a free kick and nothing else. It's their recognition of those challenges, and it just seems to at the moment no man or empathy shown in the professional game at present. I mean, my brother's a manager at Ware Football Club, and he constantly moans to me about the standard refereeing in the Ishmael League, and I cut through the Ishmael League. So I understand. I mean, I also understand the problems with referees, because I know what my brother's like with referees if he's not happy. You know what I mean? So, but it's about showing, understanding their frustrations. I mean, listen, you don't condone it, but it's about, don't matter what level you're refereeing at, it's about managing the game, managing the event, because you are managing an event, whether you're on a Sunday morning or a Saturday afternoon or you're refereeing in the Champions League or Europa League or the Premier League. It's different. It's just the surrounds are different. But there's 22 players. And I never changed my style of refereeing all the way up. I think I had to change a little bit when I reached the National League, the conference, because then I was being assessed by the professional referees. I went players referee, perhaps to being a bit more selfish and showing perhaps cautioning players, perhaps when I didn't, just to please the assessor. That's not what it's about. And I soon realised that. And I went back to my old, my way of refereeing, and it stood me in good stead all the way through. I think the problems we have at your grassroots level for you guys is the assessors that come to watch you. They don't understand the game. They understand the laws of the game, but they don't understand the game of football, and that's no different all the way up. And that's the problem we get at the present. I think myself, we've got some excellent referees at the top level. Michael Oller's by far our best, and you've got the experienced guys of Martin Atkinson, Anthony Taylor, Andre Mariner, Mike. The experienced Mike refereed over 5 games. Love or hate them, they're the best we've got, and they're the most experienced that we've got. And you've got the young guys coming through: Chris Kavanagh, Andy Madley, Craig Pawson, and I think some of them are just taking
That
a step
first female
backwards.
ref in League Two as well.
When Bobby Madley got onto the list, I thought great. Craig Pawson, I thought they were really good piece, but unfortunately they just took a step backwards. And that for me is the leadership, the direction, and the coaching that is in place for these guys. And that's just not at the top level. It's at the troops level. We haven't got the quality of coaches and assessors to bring these guys forward. So for me, it's about knowing the game, not always about the laws of the game. Yes, you can manage the game within the infrastructure of the laws of the game, but and I agree there are times when you can't manage a situation because of an act of violent conduct or a stress foul play challenge really comes breaks a player's leg. You got no choice but to send them off for those sort of incidents. But I look at it and I think good football coaches, average players, good players into excellent players. That's no different with referee coaches. No different whatsoever. Unfortunately, we've got a lack of leadership and direction at all levels. And I really do think that the standard of officiating over many years, I think since Keith Hackett left his post as general manager of the PGM, I think we've seen a steady decline. And I don't necessarily blame the referees because we have got some good guys out there at all levels. It's the way you bring them on. It's the way you coach, the way you manage. Some referees, it's like the select group 1 referees. It's like a dressing room. It's like managing a dressing room. Some of them might need a bit of loving, see if some arm around them. Some need a kick up the backside, and it's about managing those guys. Unfortunately, I've been there. I know the personnel. I know the management side of it, and I know they haven't got in them to do that because
it's like coaches managing a team in a football club, isn't it? It's like managing a team in a football club. In individual players is the same sort of thing.
Yeah,
because you just answered my question. I was going to ask the next question about that.
So Pete Walton left the PGM. He's gone. Mark Clattenburg gone overseas. Howard gone overseas. Lee Probert just recently retired. Roger Rees just retired. Not using myself. Not using our expertise. So we've lost 2 good guys there overseas. We could make a huge difference to our refereeing fraternity in the UK. And you've got to forget what's gone on in the past. We've got to look to the future of referees.
I think there's one question that I was apparently I've been asked to ask mate of mine, Charlie Marley. How are you, mate? Should the main ref be sitting behind a screen? Should be sitting behind a screen so that important calls are made quicker. What would you take on that?
No, I think that in that situation, the IFAB protocol is clear as per Law 5. the referee, field referee, has to make that final decision. And remember, I know we've had enormous problems with VAR, and it's not VAR, it's the personnel that's implementing it. That's the problem we've got with VAR. It's not VAR, it's the personnel. And remember, it's a clear and obvious error or a serious incident missed. That's the only time when VAR should get involved. The only time. So for me, it's got to be that main referee, the main officials on the field of play have got to make that decision. And if they make an absolute howler, that's what VAR has been brought in. The likes of the handball minutes ago that knocked Ireland Republic out of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. That handball, that's what it's there for. The player that's absolutely wiped out in the penalty box, not something that's subjective. And we've seen so many penalties given where it's been subjective, and you think that's clear and obvious. Why they call everybody over to look at it? So for me, VAR is not the problem. It's the personnel that's implementing it.
Yeah, I think I was. Do you know what? I forgot what I was going to say. I think that one of the decisions, because obviously I watched Arsenal play Fulham where we drew 1-1, and this first goal that we were supposed to score, which was disallowed in the end by Ceballos, for example, you could look at the offside ball. Now, as the offside ball as it stands, he's offside because the heel of his foot is offside. Apparently, with the new rule, apparently you only have to have a part of your body on the side to be onside. But surely, if you measure it with VAR, and this is how one person suggested it to us, is that surely with that heel, surely he can't gain an advantage being in that position. There's just no way he's got an advantage. So shouldn't there be like a second line that has a margin of difference, so that if he's beyond the second line, he's then counted as an advantage?
Yeah, listen, so obviously as the sound's the best, but to get the gist of what we're saying regarding offside. I think one thing about offside is it's factual, and we have seen two ruled out this season that's been a heel or a toenail or an armpit, which I think is nonsense. And all this should have been thought through before we implemented VAR into the Premier League. Because different countries operate different systems, whereas in the MLS they don't use the lines; they use the naked. They use the look at the replay and use the naked eye. Whereas in the UK, in the Premier, we see different size of lines at times. They use a different size line seen for every different occasion. So I think that for me, the offside law needs looking at. I mean, for me, you look at the t-shirt line where now you can score with the top part of your arm and your armpit, so that comes into play on offside. Now, the quicker we get back to being the whole of the arm and your fingers, from your shoulder all the way down, being handball, then we can know from the offside. Because once you can't, because obviously you can put the top part of the arm, which is nonsense.
Oh, is she there? Oh, don't tell me
take that away, make the whole of the arm back or 12 handling the ball, and then that nullity like is where the FIFA that's onside, you won't be offside. So I know they're trialing that I think they're trialing that out in China somewhere, and then looking to bring it in perhaps in Doha for the World Cup in Qatar. So we'll have to wait and see what they come up with offside. I know it does need looking at, and we do need to I think amend the law, because before VAR came in, we're looking at benefit out to attack as well. Everything now is in the favour of the defenders, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. The talk menu comes up with how much leeway are you allowed in regards to advising and warning players before the game that you will be fair but fun?
Well, I mean, I was one, obviously, on all levels. I know in non-league level and right the way up to, the Premier League level, that coaches and the managers come in room with the team sheets. I wasn't a one for saying too much. They knew me, and I just, you're in the dressing room, you start dictating, don't do this, don't do that, don't say this, can't do this, you can't do that. The moment you go out on the field of play and say, you don't do it in the camp, well, you just said in the dressing room that someone done this, you would caution them. So for me, they come into the dressing room, and I would say, "Hi guys, enjoy the game, smile. You know what I'm about. Keep smiling, go and enjoy, and away you go." Because they don't want the dressing room, and dictating to them in the dressing room either. Because they know what's right and what's wrong, and they know, as I said to you before, they know who they've got refereeing today. Whether it's the Duck versus whatever, and Tottenham versus Arsenal. It's no different. No, the players, the referees, because they see you.
Yeah,
I'm like that myself as well. I think even before, obviously refereeing the level I referee at as well. It's like I don't really say too much before the game. Like obviously I do a pre-match, because we got the sin bin law saying like any dissent, obviously like I'll have to be involved, etc. But apart from that, I just tell the players to enjoy the game. Like if there's any times, if there's any times I have to speak to the captains, I will. But like that's about it really. Like I don't want to sort of get myself too far involved. But as you said, Mark, it's like that's the thing. I don't sort of get too far involved. I just want them to enjoy the game, and as much as if I need to get involved, I'll have to. Obviously if there's decisions that have to be made.
Yeah.
I think before, listen, obviously on the referee, the use of the captains is good. And for me, the use of the captains is good for when players are showing you dissent. And you just call the captain in play and you say, more of that will. You can put your personality onto the game without sometimes using the captains. You could, something's happened. You've played an advantage. You can run alongside. So, listen, I've seen that. No problems. I'll do it. And you run alongside. And you tell them, I do that again. I will caution you. Calm yourself down, and just concentrate on the game. Any more of that, and I'll caution you. And that's what you do when it's about engage. It's about engaging with them. If you don't sort yourself out, I will sort you out. They will heed that if you put it across in the right manner.
Yeah. What is the preparation like in before a big game? So like sort of a derby or something like that. Is there any extra preparation at all towards that? Considering maybe say like a Tottenham, the fierce rivalry between the two.
Listen, obviously you know the players. There are players that are harder than going to challenge a bit harder than others. But you treat each game on its merit, and you cross that white line, and you ref what's in front of you. I never used to. Listen, you do your homework. You do your homework. You do, and you don't have to do it. Because you're refereeing the size all the time. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get a local derby. You know what's going to happen. You know that you've got to manage that occasion, manage that event, and you can't be too pedantic, because if you caution the first challenge, then you could have a hatful and start and have a couple of red cards. So it's using the moment to get involved and to issue that first caution.
Yeah.
It's about managing the tempo of the game and giving the game time and let it breathe, and letting the players know that what your intentions are. The players will see the way you're refereeing that game. If the temperature goes up, and then you have to just slow that game down a little bit. And that don't mean to say stop, start. What that is that what you do is your temperature goes up, the challenge is going in, and sometimes you just you don't play that advantage pass. You're playing the defending third. You just slow the game down. You stand on the free kick. You just slow that game down, and then everybody chance just to cope while everybody else is losing their heads around them. you're just keeping yours, and you're controlling that game. And players know how you you know what you like, how you're controlling.
Yeah. Can you ask the hardest game you've ever had to ref?
That's what I was going to ask that.
Yeah, go on then. Man.
I was going to
say
yeah.
both of you have asked.
I was going to ask Mark. Like, I mean,
sorry, I didn't. It's a bit down. The sound's not the best.
I was going to ask like, what's the hardest game you've ever refereed?
What's the hardest?
Yeah, the hardest.
Listen, I think. I mean, some of. I mean, I've taken control of some really top games. One of the toughest I ever done was the Birmingham derby, Birmingham City and Aston Villa. Actually, it was played at Aston Villa v Birmingham. I mean, that was a tough game. One of the toughest games I've ever done. I mean, we had crowd invasions. I had sent 2 players off. Dion Dome was one of them, and a bit of a set to Savage. And obviously I've refereed Liverpool, Man United a few times, and they're all every game's a big game. Every game's a tough game, and I wasn't fussed where I refereed, whether the Premier League, League One or League Two. I treat every game the same. Every game is a cup final, so every game was my last. So listen, there are many games, all tough. All games are tough, and you just got to stay focused and stay in control.
Yeah. Biggest go for the biggest decision you've ever made, Mark. Charlie's, God bless him. He's a young 14-year-old Man City fan. So yeah, biggest decision you've ever had to make.
Sorry, Stephen, I can't. The
The
sound is
biggest
awful. Can't hear
yeah,
what
so
you're
it's
saying.
the biggest decision you've ever had to make as a referee.
Sorry.
Put the comment up, Stephen. See if
I'll put the comment up. I'll put the comment up now. If I can find it again. There you go.
There we go.
Scott, what's that? How much leeway? That one's been on for
No,
a while. How much?
No, it's not. It's the question was the biggest decision you've ever made, Mark. Like biggest refereeing decision.
Sorry, I can't hear what you're saying, guys. It sounds awful.
Damn it.
Let's try one more time. Mark, so Charlie's asked the biggest decision you've ever made as a referee.
Yeah.
The biggest decision?
Yeah, biggest decision, yeah.
Biggest decision I've ever made?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think they're all. Listen, I've made. The biggest decision. Every decision is a big decision. I've made a couple of. I think I've made a couple of errors in my time when I look back on. I've had great refereeing at the new Wembley with cup finals and all sorts, but big decisions. I don't know. Every decision is a big decision, really, isn't it? But as I say, if I look back on my career, I think there's 2 moments in my career where one game I wasn't a Premier League referee. I just come back from an international appointment in midweek, and I was refereeing at Fulham Arsenal. I had an off day that day. I wasn't a Premier League referee that day. And I think the other one was many years later at Wigan, when I refereed Wigan Newcastle, and I missed a challenge by Callum McMahon on a Newcastle player, Herrera, where a player ran straight in front of my view, and I missed. And obviously the challenge went in, and I didn't see it because all I could see was the back of a Newcastle player. And when I was challenged afterwards, it was an awful challenge. So I think if I look back at those on I suppose, look back on those two, that instant with the challenge, I think, changing my mind in a penalty situation on the say-so of my assistant referee, which I learned a lot that day. I think if I look back on my career, I look back at not the greatest moments. I look back on perhaps, the two moments for perhaps one game I wasn't, back in 2002, I think it was 2002-03 at Fulham Arsenal, where I didn't think I was a Premier League referee that day due to, I think I felt mentally fatigued. I'm coming back from a trip in Europe midweek, and I think that game there in Wigan in 2012-13 season. So I suppose looking at those, I mean, as I say, I had many good moments. I think people ask me about my best game. I had, as I say, I've had some great moments, but I think the best game for me was when obviously I come back from battling cancer, and I was told I'd survive. I would never referee level. Did, and I trotted out at Wigan Blackpool in the 2010-11 season. My first Premier League game back after battling cancer was most probably one of my highest achievements. Obviously, Football League first game in the Football League was at Rotherham. The crowd were fantastic. Rotherham, Port. I always remember Ronnie Moore leaving a letter in my dressing room for me. And then obviously, my friendly at Goodison Park was fantastic. Goodison Park, great crowd, People's fantastic football club. Presented me with a memento, and obviously a standing ovation from 26,000 in for the friendly. So, some fond memories of that. So, I've had a great career. Enjoyed it. Got a lot to thank for the Premier League and the PGMOL giving me a full-time contract. And as I say, my career with fond memories. Shame now that perhaps I'm not involved in coaching referees, where I know I would make a massive difference to the standard of what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, battling cancer and being able to come back and still referee at the highest level is obviously a major achievement, and absolute respect to you for that. I would say, can you recall and point out some shocking decisions from this season? Oh, there you go. He said, yeah. Can you recall and point out some shocking decisions this season?
Can I recall? Sorry.
Recall some of the shocking decisions this season.
Nah, listen. As I say, can I recall? Yeah, listen. I think. Listen. We're all human. We all make mistakes. What industry we're in. It's not easy, and the players don't make it easy for the referees. I think with VAR we've got at the moment, we have seen some errors, but in VAR. I mean, we look at the West Bromwich Albion and game last week, where their goal they scored was for offside, and obviously the excuse from the PGMOL was they didn't have a definitive camera angle. Well, there was more evidence to say that it was onside than offside. So I'm pretty sure if they hadn't said anything about the definitive camera angle and just kind of looked at the evidence in front, just know that's a goal, I don't think anybody would have said anything. Look, I think looking at this, really, if you looking at the Wolves Sheffield United game when Brewster was called for a challenge on the Wolves player. Forget what it was, the Wolves number 3. It was the Wolves player that put in the poor challenge, and it was Brewster that got caught. Now, looking at it, you can understand referee pushing. Should have called Wolves player. Nari, I think it was. No, is it not? Forget what.
Yeah, is it El Nardi?
Number 3. I forget.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Nori, or whatever you have pronounced it. But if you look at that and you look at VAR, you think, is that a clear and obvious error or serious instance miss? Because the Wolves, for me, that was a real challenge. Now, in real time, you would think, well, okay, yeah, he would have yellow carded the Wolves player, but he went and then and cautioned Brewster, the Sheffield United player, anything. He could have had his leg broken with inch. I was surprised that VAR didn't recommend Rob Jones to review that incident, because for me that could be classed as a red card change, seriously missed by the referee. So, as I said, it's difficult in real time and sometimes, and that's why we've got VAR. I mean, I think this season and last season, as I say, it's the training and education, it's the implementation of the personnel, and I still think there's a lot more training and education to be done. And I also feel VAR has been consistent at being consistent. We've seen penalties given, reviews recommended when they shouldn't be, and reviews not recommended they should have been, and so with VAR in progress, these things shouldn't be happening. But you look at it, and you look at I think one of them was, you look back at Southcheck, when he was sent off at Fulham for, he's trying to get his arm out of the way, and the VAR, Mike Dean was going to take no action, yet he's, VAR recommended a review, so he's gone over, and then he's persuaded Mike Dean to see that it's an act of violent conduct. I mean, that was a terrible decision by Lincoln and the VAR. So, as I say, it's not VAR, it's the personnel that's implementing it. That's the problem. So there's obviously a lot more training and education needs to be done regarding VAR in the Premier League.
Just one more question before to just get your opinion on one more thing. Do you feel South American players' reputation of diving and acting more as an influence on refereeing decisions?
No, listen, I think it's something that's crept back into our game with players deceiving the match officials, and I think it's all nationalities. I don't think. I think look back over the years and you can say, well, perhaps did it come into our game from when they started coming in? But I think it's all players that make it difficult now. And the problem we've got now is there's no retrospective action, and I think there should be retrospective action on players that deceive the match officials wherever it is on the field of play. There should be a panel on a Monday, even if he's diving or he's simulating to get a free kick and he's found guilty, then it should be a 1-game ban. Obviously, into the penalty area, then VAR's there to see if it's deemed a clear and obvious error.
Because the problem is, because the problem is that they're supposed to give them a yellow card if they do such a thing. But the problem is when they do that and say like that you've gone over and they've classed it as simulation, they don't go over and book them. So they're like, well, if I'm not getting booked for it, I can do it again, and I can do it again, and eventually someone will be
that's right.
Make the mistake of doing it.
If they're not checked and there's no retrospective action, then it's going to happen, isn't it? So I think that's another thing that needs looking at. Wherever it is on the field of play, if the referee doesn't pick it up, there should be a panel on a Monday that says, no, you deceived the match official, that's a 1 ban. And if they continue doing it, give them a 2-game ban. That's the only way we're going to stamp it out. But as I say, I've got to disappear now, guys, because I've got another. I was just going to quickly ask. Obviously,
just going to ask you quickly. The obviously what's happened yesterday, and is going all over the news today. The European Super League. Give me your views on that, Mark, before you go.
Listen. For me, it's just. Is it going to destroy Is it going to destroy football as we know it? You look at all the pyramid. From in the leagues the Football League pyramid. You look at the leagues that have come up. Look at Accrington that went out of the league. You look at likes of Torquay United. You look at Salford City. How they've come. How AFC Wimbledon have come up through the leagues. you know, there's all that. Where's all that money that the Premier League, you know, feed
generates.
down into leagues? Is that going to stop? Is that going to stop? You know, are we going to see clubs go to the wall because the money's not there anymore? I mean, you know, it's businessmen. You can look at the business. They're all a lot of them are all foreign investors, except Tottenham, I suppose. You look at Darren Levy.
Well, we're Arsenal, and I mean, I'm an Arsenal fan. Here's,
you know, I listen. We need this sorted and stamped straight away, don't we? I mean, listen, yeah, everybody's up for change in football. I mean, not the way this has been brought about.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the fact that you're part, because you're a founding member, you don't even get relegated, for example. I mean, Arsenal not even in a position to challenge in the Champions League, let alone go play Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. Liverpool may be in a better situation, but I mean, it's like, I don't know this club anymore, and you just sold your soul down the river, and not everything that we've fought so hard and worked so hard to build. I mean, our two clubs, Liverpool and Arsenal, have built the history, and now you're just going to throw it all away.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. It'll be interesting to see what starts to Premier League tomorrow. 14 clubs. You know, just football's fine as it is. We don't need a European Super League. You know, it's the fans that matter. It's the that is got to be thought of. You know, just without football, without the fans, there's no football. We've seen that over since this dreadful pandemic. No fans in the stadium. Yeah, it makes a massive difference. The tempo of the game, the fans lift the players, makes a better game. The players get stuck in. The referee's got to be on his mettle to call things right. Listen, I'm with everybody else in football. We don't need this European Super League, but I
mean, I don't mind a revamp, because it looks like a revamp.
It doesn't take off, but
yeah. I mean, it's like what they've done with the Champions League, where they've revamped it. But I don't think we need to do it this way. But Mark, obviously you got to go, and
thanks, Mark.
I mean, yeah, you can follow me back on Twitter, and
You're welcome,
maybe
guys. All the best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, and taking your time to come and talk to us. Right, thank you.
You're welcome. Take care and stay safe. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do. You too.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, there you go, guys. Yeah, I mean, Luke, I'm going to ask your opinion on the Super League. Go on, go for it. Go for it, mate.
Listen, it's just I'm appalled at my club, Liverpool.
And try not to swear.
I mean, look, we're playing tonight, and it's like, of course, I want my team to win, and of course, I want my team to do well. But to see this come out, I'm in two minds. Of course, we've gone through a whole season now where, like we've been through ups and downs, and obviously there's fights on for if there is going to be European places next season or whatever. But I just can't believe what's happened. I really can't believe it. I mean, you nailed it on the head about teams like Arsenal, like if they're not in the position that they should be. But you know what? I'm appalled at these three clubs in particular: Arsenal, United, and Liverpool.
Yeah,
like the history that we've made.
We built English football together.
In the Premier
League. The amount of history we've got with English football, we've practically built it.
Yep, in what, the 20 to 25 years of the Premier League era, and obviously back before in the 80s, 70s, like Liverpool and United always battling each other, and it's just, for me, you said not to swear. I'm not going to at all, mate. I just don't know what to think of it now. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I'm about to watch Liverpool play Leeds, and as you said, is it going to be one of those? If we lose the game, am I going to care about it or not? We'll see. Hopefully, something's done about it. In the next couple of days.
It's got to be stopped. I can't walk away from my club. I'm gonna have to walk away from my club. I can't accept this. It's not the club I love anymore. I knew it's been like that for a long time at Arsenal. Don't get me wrong, but this is just those munition factory workers that created this club. Herbert Chapman, Bertie Mee, they've literally taken a shit on their grave. That's what you've done. I'm sorry, but that's probably the only word I'm going to use, but that is essentially what you've done. They would be turning in their graves right now. Right? Especially the munitions factory workers who created the club in 1886. They wouldn't have bothered if they saw this coming. We've all got a lot to answer for. No roadmap. You're not going to pin it on one club. It's all 6.
Exactly. Like that's what I said. Like at the end of the day, like I'm a Liverpool fan, and I don't agree with what Liverpool have done. I don't agree with any of them have done, but it's not just Liverpool. Like United are heavily involved.
Look at Liverpool and Arsenal, because Kroenke is a vice chairman. The Glazers are a vice chairman. Man United especially, because they've been real instigators in this. Real instigators. But I've had my say this morning. We're not doing the watch along. That's been boycotted. I'm boycotting it. I might even think of boycotting the Chelsea game. Any top 6 game, probably apart from the Arsenal games, because I'll support my club until its end, which is the end of the season if it goes through. Well, until this Super League comes in. Right? But anything else in top 6, fuck that. I'll go watch Leicester or Burnley or something like that. I won't host any other watch along, even if it means it gives me the watch hours I need. Don't care. They don't deserve my watch hours because they obviously don't care. They don't care, and we're covering football in this the channel anymore. We'll be covering just the other clubs in the league or championship. The European Super League, we're going to pretend it don't exist. Arsenal don't exist. And I never thought I'd say that. Ever. But everyone's entitled to a decision what they want to do. I think if you support this as an Arsenal fan, you're not an Arsenal fan. Not in my eyes. But maybe that's harsh, but that's harsh. Maybe that's harsh, but that's the way I see it. So, because it's not the club I know. It's not the club I know either. I'll probably, maybe you're the same, Luke. I don't know how you would say that.
We're a family-run club, mate. I mean, look at how the club was built. Like, Liverpool are the people's club. You'll never walk alone is our motto. And literally, as you said, mate, like the likes of
Someone mentioned the '96. You just had that anniversary.
Yeah, I mean the likes of Paisley, Shankly, these guys that have created the
Busby, Fergie.
These people that have created the legacy of it. And I'm not being funny. You can even put Jurgen Klopp to this list. Like, for 5-6 years, he's created a huge legacy at Liverpool. And I mean,
he's not even answered anything yet.
No, to be honest,
I would have just come out and just said, "Nah, it's not. I don't care if it's at me.
To be honest,
I'm fine."
To be honest, I don't. I mean, him and Solskjaer were asked yesterday, and Solskjaer was similar as well. I don't think any of the managers are going to come out and say anything. And that's the thing. I don't necessarily think a lot of people should be putting Klopp at blame for it, because I feel for some of the players as well. Like, because
players are now been contracted to go out of Europe, out of international. The Euros they were hoping for this year, gone.
Yep.
Gone. And not a word has been said to them. It's like not just that single-decker buses they've been thrown under. Not even a double-decker bus. I'm talking a triple-decker bus. Right? I'm talking a triple-decker bus with a lorry on top of it. Right? They have been proper squashed. And like, oh, we've got to accept this now. Oh. Well, just like that. If I was a player, I'd knock on the manager's door and said, "See that contract? Give me it now. I want to set fire to it. Because I want to play for my country this year." I just looked at last England squad. Sam Johnston, Nick Pope, Ollie Watkins, Tyra Mings, about 6 or 7 players out of that 26-man squad would play for the Euros. That's it. Luckily, Borussia Dortmund said no, so we still get Jadon Sancho. And here's the thing: Germany, under clubs, Germany have said no. Who runs the clubs in those leagues? The fans. It's funny, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't want to make this all about this. This is a great interview of us with Mark Halsey. But like he said, he's in agreement, mate. My just Terry Tibbs in, mate. Look, we are gonna do. We're literally now gonna. Everyone, I'm even gonna put the link.
I'm gonna shoot.
Well, no, you're gonna shoot, but we're gonna, as soon as this. What's the next stream? It is European Super League. Have your say. That's what it's called. And everyone is going to put that. I'm going to put the link in the chat, pinned in the chat. You could come on, have your say, and we'll rotate the panel for an hour and a half. You can get it all out. I'm just going to sit there and let you talk shit. Basically, let you go on. Because I feel you should be allowed to voice your anger, your frustration, your worry, and your heartbreak, right? Especially if you're one of these big clubs. But Luke, where can we find you, mate?
Yeah, thanks for letting me come back on, Stephen. So, of course, my channel is the 1892 Reds Podcast. We are on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Please subscribe to our channel, 1892 Reds Podcast. Of course, we will do our review tonight, straight after the full-time whistle away at Leeds at 10 o'clock.
You must be thinking next season, oh God, how do we do this?
So me and Ricky will be having an absolute great chat on that. So please, 1892 Reds Podcast, join us at 10 o'clock tonight for our Leeds United review.
Will we be allowed to? If you come on there, you can say what you like. These we try and keep professional and not to swear. Right? The ones where you can just come on and have a session, which is like hot off the press show, the watch alongs, and maybe the match reactions if it's really angry, but like the banter of the rivals, yeah, go for it, as long as it's not too abusive. but yeah, big up to all you guys. Make sure to smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, and hit the notification bell. That's when you know when we're live, right? Especially because we are be trying to get some more guests like Mark Halsey on, and hopefully we'll maybe get him back for a review further in the future. It'd be great to have him back on. But yes, I've got a big up Football United TV because Matt and Football United TV got us that interview. So big ups to them, and go and subscribe to their channel. They will be doing their own sort of European Super League to have your say sort of thing. But maybe it'd be afterwards. I don't know. But there you go. Anyway, thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with the rest of you. My co-host obviously will probably be back next week as well. Now he's finally put a ring on it as well. Congrats, by the way. So congrats.
Cheers, mate.
But yeah, stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you in a minute on that show next. Bye-bye.